I'll never gather up the courage to show how I feel, but if I could, here's what I'd ask.
Hey everybody, welcome to American Idol Unaired. I'm your host, Bennett Shear. Super excited to talk to today's unaired contestant from season 21, Noël Tsoukalas.
Hi guys.
How are you?
I'm so good. I am really excited to be able to talk about my experience because I haven't been able to say anything yet. So this is a really cool opportunity.
So did you get the golden ticket, not get the golden ticket?
I did get the golden ticket. I got 3 yeses from all 3 judges, which was incredible. Literally probably the best moment of my life was taking that golden ticket off the stage and walking out because I did not expect it at all. So yeah, I got to go to Hollywood Week, which was awesome.
Were you scouted for the show? Did you try it yourself?
The process was really funny, actually, because I was literally just scrolling on Instagram and I saw an ad for an open call audition. And I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, this is probably like a scam. It's just a random ad on Instagram. But I found out it's actually legit. And I just signed up just, why not? Trying to make it out here. And basically they sent me a Zoom link and I got this thing called the front of the line pass. I don't know if you've interviewed anyone with that, but it was a really cool experience because I got to be one of the first people in the first day to audition. So it was just the first round of talent. And I literally just sat on Zoom for 3 hours and had 30 seconds of my song prepared. And I sang my first original song for the producer. And she was like, yep, we're going on to the next round. And then I hopped into another Zoom call, sent 3 videos of me singing in, which was crazy. And then just waited. And then the next day one of the producers reached out to me and they're like, hey, can you hop on a callback? And I was like, sure, of course. Yeah. And second day sat on Zoom for 3 to 4 hours. It was a long day, but got to talk to a real producer and they were like, we really like you and you're going to go to New Orleans and audition. And it was crazy and kind of unbelievable. I honestly didn't believe it was actually going to happen until they actually emailed me and they were like, all right, here's your flights. Here are the dates. Get school off. And I was like, wow, this is really happening. So literally all came about from an Instagram ad, which is crazy.
Any previous singing show experience or any other competitions?
I had auditioned for The Voice actually, this all happened in the same week, which was really crazy, but I was originally going to go on The Voice and I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, because another Instagram ad, I filled that one out first and I went through the whole process, sent in videos, they approved me, they called me, they're like, you're going to be on, it's going to be great. And then I waited 2 months and then one of the producers called me and they're like, hey, sorry, we made final cuts. So you should try again next year. And I was so heartbroken and devastated because I was so excited. I was like, it's going to be the break. And then the American Idol thing came up and I was like, I don't even really have any confidence that I'll even make it on, but why not try it, I guess. And it all happened in 1 month. It was really, really random. But so other than that, no, this is my first experience flying out there and doing all the things. So yeah.
Man, well, hearing your song, which you're going to play at the very end, but I just listened to it before this middle of May, I have to say there is no doubt in my mind that any singing show out there would want to have you on because your voice and your writing abilities and your melodies and everything, you're so talented. So it makes so much sense that you ended up on one of these shows. Thank
you. That is so nice. I didn't even sing this one that you're going to show. I actually sang a different one, but I only have 2 songs out. This is the song you're going to hear is my most recent one that I actually released a month ago. So yeah, I've just been trying to pump out music as fast as I can, but I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, because hey, if there's going to be any 2 songs out or 1 song out, I was just so blown away. And I even said, I've started to say this, I think this is becoming one of my new catchphrases of 2023. It's I'm not one of the judges because you've met Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and Katy Perry. So who am I to say it? It's just I don't know. I'm a fan of music and I absolutely love your song. So
thank you
for that. And honestly, that's something.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. It's it doesn't matter how famous you are. The fact that people just connect to the music is the most important part. So thank you.
Well, it's funny actually though because they are three people, and being an artist is all about connecting with as many people as you can who are not celebrities. So do you have a mindset going into a competition show where it is about impressing three people and kind of being grounded in that idea of like, well, if these people don't like it, at least there's so many others that might. I mean, talk about that, because I think that there's so much placement on, well, it's American Idol, it's Katie, Luke, and Lionel, but I know everybody has kind of different thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, I would say the whole TV competition thing in my experience is like there are so many people who are incredible musicians out there who audition and don't get picked. It's really just like what the producer is feeling that day, if they liked you, if they liked what you said. I really think a lot of it has to do with like luck. Like the fact that I got on there was honestly like just a lot of it had to do with luck. I was like, thank you that they were feeling me this day because there's so many other amazing people out there. But I do not think that just the people who didn't get golden tickets, like I saw the most incredible people I've ever heard in my life at Hollywood Week and at the audition week. Like I was blown away and I was so humbled. I was like, there's so many talented people here and everyone in this room deserves to be here. Um, and some of the best people didn't get golden tickets. I was like so shocked. And I think and then I follow them on Instagram later and I see them doing these amazing things after their audition. And I'm like, you know what? It didn't matter. Like, yes, it is really reassuring to get 3 yeses or 2 yeses from the judges because they're incredibly accomplished and so talented. But the people who got there are amazing. And honestly, my favorite part of the whole experience, the connections that I made with the people that I met, like some people had hundreds and thousands of followers, signed to record labels, have hundreds of songs out, so talented, so well established, and like they have already marketed themselves so well. And so now I have connections with musicians in Nashville and Boston and Chicago, and like the connections of like the rising music community was the best part of the whole entire experience. So it was just an honor to get to meet all of the amazing people and to get to be a part of it was like so humbling and such. Oh, I can't. It's like it's just such an honor to be there and be with those people. So
Well, let's start with who you met in New Orleans, because that's
yeah,
probably only, I mean, even maybe like a third of who you met, because once you get to Hollywood, there's a lot more people. But your audition city is when you get a chance to hear some people. So you're in the holding room, you're getting to know contestants, maybe even some of their families or their spouses or friends or who knows. But what was that like?
it was crazy. Honestly, I was terrified. I had no idea what to expect, and I got there, and my dad got to come with me, but I was so overwhelmed. At first, there were like I was in the first day, the first 3 days of the audition round. So there were like 150 people in the room where we would all wait. We would just be held in there for like 10 hours a day, just waiting to be pulled to be filmed or like take pictures or digitals or crazy interviews and stuff like that. So the majority of the time was spent sitting in a room with all the talent. So after I like got a little bit more comfortable and like, okay, this is fine, like we're chilling, everyone's in the same boat. I got to meet such cool people like John Wayne, who was aired a couple weeks ago with his grandpa. John Wayne is one of my really close friends. He's so talented. I got to meet Stefan Benz, who's like super fun and he's like a little pop singer, like Justin Bieber vibe. Who else did I get to meet? Oh, what? I think Tongi. I may be saying it wrong, but oh my gosh, he was incredible. Got to jam out with him and his audition blew me away. And so I met a lot of the people that you've seen on TV because everyone who made it forward, I was there at Hollywood Week with them. So it was so sweet getting to see all of them on TV. But the cool thing about New Orleans was that apparently our audition city was the most like cutthroat. Nashville and Las Vegas, they let a lot of people through. New Orleans was the smallest bunch. So there was very few of us who got to go to Hollywood Week, but it was like getting to be with the few was like a little family, and it was super sweet to get to be with them.
You had never done a show like this, so of course, as you said, interviews, B-roll. I'm always fascinated with everybody's story, just in that element alone, because it's pretty interesting to walk into a room and to be asked different questions about yourself, and then to be told to go like stand here and let's film you looking like this, like the different reactions. So,
Yeah.
what were you feeling in those moments?
That was so wild because I'd never done anything like that before, but I can tell you a little bit about like the interview and the B-roll. I didn't know what B-roll was. That was so random, but basically the producers take you to like the holding room or like outside, and you literally just walk around and like put your hands together and like look up at the sky and breathe deep, and they like tell you what to do, and it's super staged and like not real at all, but it's so funny. It's just it was a fun experience to get to do that. So got to do some B-roll before my audition. I was about to poop my pants. I was so nervous, but that's okay. And we did social media pictures, so we got to take some fun digitals, which they call them in the film world. I had a great interview. The camera guys were the best. Those guys are like hold a special place in my heart because they're working so hard all day, and just like being able to talk with them and hear about all the wild people that they've interviewed was super cool. But yeah, they asked me all about like my life growing up, and I moved around a lot. I moved around like 4 or 5 times when I was younger, so that was kind of hard. They asked me about my original music and songwriting, and my dad was a touring musician in Boston for 25, 30 years. So I got to do some interviews with him, and it was super special that he got to be there with me and share that experience. But yeah, the filming was really fun. I felt like so special, but everyone does it. It's super cool.
Yeah, I really feel like those moments actually give you that sort of superstar, like all the attention's on you kind of vibes. Even the B-roll, even if it's super stage, right? I mean, it's
Yep.
so glamorous and movie-like.
Oh yeah, and like one of the producers gave me the like,
Oh,
what is this called?
is
Like,
it the
I
slate?
don't even. Yeah, I got to do the slate before my interview, and I was like, this is the coolest moment of my life. Super cool.
Right. A lot of fun and then a lot of angst as you actually go for your audition, right? You're in that waiting room. This is go time. What are you
Yeah,
feeling?
it was so scary because I was on the first day of auditions, so no one had done it before. I had heard nothing. It was literally just like we're going in there and I have no idea what to expect, but this was everything I had been preparing for. So, basically, I had no idea when I was going or what time, and I waited probably in the waiting room for like it wasn't bad, 3 hours maybe. Other people were waiting there till like 10 o'clock at night. I felt so bad. John Wayne was one of them. He was like the last guy to go. It was so bad. But I was, oh my gosh, so nervous. I was because just the people around me were so talented. Like you're waiting in the waiting room and you're hearing people hum and you're hearing people's demos and you're hearing them play guitar and you're like, oh my gosh, am I good enough to be here? Like probably not. But so I waited for 3 hours. They take you, they producer just like, all right, we're going. So I didn't even like warm up. I didn't get to go to the bathroom. I just like went. And you go through security, and I remember being in the waiting room just about to go into the room. So I was like really close. And the two people before me had gotten no's. And so I was just like, oh gosh, like this is not happening. I'm like, this is not happening. And they were both really good. So I was like, all right, we're just gonna literally just go for it. Like, we're just gonna go for it. And I was so anxious, but I walked in there and I remember tripping on the stage. That was awesome. So I tripped on the stage, and they were all like, all the judges were like, whoa, like we didn't even see you come in. And I was like, sorry, hey. Because the producers just push you in right after someone gets cut. So I was just headed in there right away. And I literally blacked out for the majority of this, but the judges were so nice. So nice. And I remember Katy Perry's eyes being so blue. I was like, you do not look real. This is crazy. But she was beautiful. Oh my goodness. And I'm from her hometown, which is really cool, Santa
Oh,
Barbara, California. So we were talking about like we went to the same high school, and she was asking me all my favorite local spots, and she was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And I was like, "You're beautiful." So it was really cool to get to chat with them before. Definitely took the stress off. I was like, these are literally just three normal people. Like Lionel Richie's sitting in front of me, but he's a real person, which is crazy enough. Luke was super chill. I don't really remember. He didn't really say much. He was just chill. Um, we talked about my mom like teaching at a college, and he was like chatting about that. And Lionel was asking me about my original songs and my songwriting because he's a big songwriter. So we were chatting about that. But I was so nervous, but I was just like, you know what? We're gonna take a big breath. I'm gonna sit at the piano. I'm gonna just make myself at home, and we're just gonna do this. So that was the anxiety building up to the audition.
I like that you said make yourself at home because I like the way you put it. It's almost a thing where you can't sort of forget that you're being filmed and this is television and these are three celebrities. It's American Idol, but you were able to remember that why you're doing this. It's something you've done your whole life and you're
Yeah,
right, or I'm guessing you've done this your whole life, and music is
yeah.
just this thing that's always before television. This is your
Hmm.
dream. Forgetting about the cameras and people watching you, you're
Yeah,
home. I love that.
yeah. Thank you. I mean, yeah, and to backtrack on that, I have not like that was the most out of my comfort zone thing I've ever done. Like I started performing probably about a year ago. Actually, a year ago I had my first like solo show where I
Okay.
did covers. So this was like totally not anything I was used to.
Mm.
And I think that's what made it even more exciting and surreal. It was like this opportunity just came about out of like literally thin air. And it's such a niche. I feel like when I hear about people who have done American Idol, it's such a niche experience. Um, and just singing in front of three people, lights on, like you're not on a stage with a bunch of people in the crowd singing along. It's like it was such a different but valuable experience for any musician that is trying to make it. I thought it was, yeah, it was a good experience, but it really pushed my limits for sure. So,
I bet. Yeah, let's even go further as backtracking, as you said, performing like a year ago. What
mhm.
sparked the interest to pick up music?
I have been singing, my dad says, since I was 2 years old. It's just something that has all like I always feel most myself when I'm singing. Like not complete confidence, but like I love to do it. I love to write music. I love to perform when I'm on a stage. I have the most fun when I'm performing. I can't really explain it. It's just something that I absolutely love to do, and that's why I'm pursuing it in college, and I'm young, and that's my whole mindset right now is like I'm 20. I'm never going to have these young years again. Might as well take every weird and experience that comes my way. So, performing and writing songs and releasing music and doing American Idol.
It does also remind me of a story that we saw of an area contestant. I don't know if you met her, Hannah Nicolaisen, who's a
Yes.
volleyball player and then
Yeah.
done music, but then also decided I also want to perform. I sing, but I also want to take the stage and show
Yep.
people this other side of me.
Yes. Totally. She's awesome. I watched her audition too.
Meanwhile, you're at the piano, you're at
Mhm.
home, and what song are you singing?
Yeah, I actually sang. My whole goal was like, I'm just going to be as authentic and me as possible because I don't know. It's like this opportunity just came about out of nowhere. So I sang my first original song that I've ever written. I usually don't play an instrument while I perform, but for the audition, if you want to do an original song, which just came about this year actually, you have to play it yourself. You have to accompany it yourself or have someone do it for you. So I was like, all right, we're just gonna play the piano and sing my original song because what do we got to lose here? And I genuinely completely blacked out while I was singing. I do not remember anything besides me thinking I am not like it wasn't good enough. Like I
Mm.
remember playing my song, finishing, and I was like, I don't know if that was good enough. Like I feel like I'm going home. Just because, I feel like every performer can relate after they have a performance and you're just immediately like self-analyzing and self deprecating. So that was really scary. And then I sang my original, and then Katy Perry was like immediately, do you know Sarah Bareilles? And I was like, yeah, she's one of my like favorite artists. Like a lot of people say I sound like her a little bit. And she said, yeah, you sound like her. Can you play Gravity by Sarah Bareilles and play it on the piano right now and sing? And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I quite literally pulled chords out of thin air and just started playing and singing,
Nice.
which was really scary. Never done anything like that before, but I was like, all right, we're just gonna do it. and I sang Gravity, and I played the best chords I could, and I was like, I finished and I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know that song. I've never played it before and sang. She was like, don't worry. Like, we heard what we needed to hear. So I was like, all right, I'm going home. Like, this isn't the end for me. And I got up from the piano and I was like, um, is if there's anything else you want me to sing, like, I'm sure the pianist can play something for me. And Katie and Lionel were like, nope, we've heard everything we need to hear. No worries about that. So that was really scary. I genuinely was like, all right, we're going home. Like, see ya. And what I remember happening was Lionel Richie immediately was like, you need to continue songwriting. Like, that's in your blood. And that's like the biggest compliment I took from that because he's an amazing songwriter and I've looked up to him for so many years. And so that was really special. And I was just so like overcome with gratitude. I was like, thank you so much. And he was like, we'd love to see you without the piano next time and with just on the stage performing. And I was like, totally, like, yes, 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 yes. He said there's like some things to work on, but as of my mind, I'm like, I'm going home. He's like, you have a lot to work on. Da 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 da. And then Katy Perry basically was like, you've got everything, you've got the whole package. That's what she said. You've got the whole package. There is stuff you need to work on though. And I think we could really push you in the next week. And I really remember her saying that because that stuck with me. And then Luke Bryan was kind of just quiet, but chill. He's like, kind of sound like Casey Musgraves. I was like, okay, I'll take it. Like, thank you. Um, but it was mostly Katie and Lionel talking, and they were just moral of the story saying, I've got the package or I've got what it takes. And they want to see me without the piano and to really test my limits. And I was like, perfect. Like, that's what I usually do. So I was just like, please, God, please, 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 please. Like, I was just ready for them to let me down and just for me to walk out. But Katie started and she's like, you know what? it's a definite yes for me. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was just it was crazy. And then Lionel said yes and Luke said yes. And that was it.
The request to have you play Gravity, that was with no sort of immediate feedback about your original, right? That was just like, can you play another
Yeah.
song? So that must have been terrifying to not have any
Oh,
sort of response.
yeah. It was terrifying, especially because I had prepared my original like probably like 20 billion times before I was like getting chords and like practicing and I was just so ready for that. You're supposed to have 3 songs prepared for going into the audition and I had Gravity prepared just to sing though, like not to play. So that was really terrifying because focusing on your singing and then focusing on playing and getting the right chords and oh my gosh, they're watching me. I don't know if this sounds good. Like that was really, really tested my limits, but I think it showed them like, okay, she can just do that, which is hopefully why they liked that. But yeah, it was terrifying. It's really scary.
I'd love to hear about the original song you performed.
Yeah, totally. The original song I performed, it's called The Girl in Your Story. It's again the first song I ever wrote myself, and got to produce and release. So it's a lot of milestones for me. Like it was a very it just that song is like reminds me that I just need to keep going. And so singing it and playing it for the judges was really special to me because it was like a full circle moment. Like you're in New Orleans, you're in front of these 3 celebrities, and you're playing the song that made you love songwriting, and you're playing it at the piano. It was just like such an emotional thing for me. I was like, this is really full circle and really cool. So that's why I wanted to do it. I was like, you know what, if I'm already being flown out here and we're just doing all these things that I've never done before, we're going to ground it with something that is 100% me and
Mhm.
authentically me. So this song is about basically a love triangle, and the feeling of like, hey, can you even see who I am? You're
Mm.
going after this other person and I feel completely invisible. And it's in the metaphor of like reading a story and just wanting the person to tell you that you're not the person in their story and to let me go already so I can move on.
I am always so curious too, as the performer, you're obviously competing and you're trying to earn a place. So are you thinking about the story and what the song means to you and how you may have felt writing it when you're performing in that moment, or are you just focused on the actual idea of getting chosen for this show? Are you present with this song and its meaning?
Typically, I like when I'm performing my original, I'm like, all right, we're gonna feel this because that usually delivers the best emotional performance and it connects with the audience, which is the whole point of being a songwriter and a performer. But I was so nervous in that moment. I've never been that nervous to perform in my life. So I was literally just like went into autopilot mode because I've sung that song so many times and I've performed it in my living room piano like more times than you can imagine. So it was just an autopilot there. But I remember when I was playing and singing, I would have to snap myself back and be like, Noel, focus, like
Mm.
get the emotion across, feel the song. Cause then it kind of takes away all the nerves when you're actually like, you know what, I'm feeling this. This is my song. This is my 30 seconds to show them what I've got. So I tried my best, but I quite literally blacked out during the whole thing. So
Did your nerves dial up or down when you got to Hollywood?
I would say they dialed down because I got to Hollywood Week and I was like, all right, I've done this before. I know what to expect. Like, you get ready at 5 a.m., you wait in there for 10 hours, you're being filmed randomly, you don't know what's happening, you're meeting people. I had a better understanding of what the process would look like. But I honestly felt um yeah, less intimidated, which is really funny because it was the best of the best were the ones who were moving forward. And I remember we had 150, 140 people get golden tickets, which is a lot. So I was like, all right, there were already people who didn't get the golden ticket who were amazing. And so these people are legit. And the thing that really scared me about Hollywood Week, but was really cool, was that all the contestants were audience members. I don't know if you know this, but basically what happens during Hollywood Week is the solo round is the first round and everyone performs. And you hear everyone sing and you're the audience member. So you clap and you smile. And like I was sitting right by the judges. I was like 5 feet away from Lionel Richie. Like we were just chatting it up and Katy Perry. It was
Wow.
crazy. But yeah, and Katie was like, I remember you. You're the Santa Barbara girl. And I was like, yes. Yes. But I got to hear everyone sing, which was so intimidating because I was like, this is the best talent I've ever seen in my entire life in one room. And I'm not kidding. It was the people there were incredible. And the bummer was that the song that I picked for Hollywood Week, four other girls had that song picked. So I had to watch four other really talented people sing the song I was going to sing. But I think my nerves were definitely brought down because I had already experienced the audition. And I was like, you know what, we're just here. We're here and we're a part of the Golden Ticket people. And I feel really lucky and humbled. So yeah.
Had you watched Idol or been a fan prior?
Yes, I had watched American Idol since I was a little girl, which is like, I'm sure a lot of people say that, but I was a huge fan. And I remember watching it in my living room with my family and being like, I would hear an audition and like hear them sing it and like go to the piano and start playing it and being like, how would I have done that? Like, da 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 da
Mm.
da. So being in that room with the judges and just realizing that this was happening was so surreal. It was like little Noel would have been so freaking out and so proud.
Ah,
So
well,
yeah.
did you get to meet any of the alumni mentors that they brought in?
Yes, I remember meeting Jordan Sparks. She was awesome. And oh my gosh, she was so poised and professional. And I was in what was I in? The performance group, the stage performance group. And she basically talked about like her career as a pop star and how a performance can really change your whole like you can have a voice, but the performance is what really makes it. And it was really cool to get to hear her talk about that, especially as a woman in music. So surreal. It's crazy. And the other person I met he was the first, I think he was the first winner of American Idol.
Or was it Justin Guarini?
Yes,
Okay,
that
so
was,
the runner-up to Kelly Clarkson.
yes, yes. He does like the Dr. Pepper something.
It's the sweet one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, this is so cool. Oh my gosh. He was really sweet. But David Archuleta was there too. Like it was super sweet. The whole thing was surreal. Like I just even getting to talk about it is so nice because you don't get to fully share your experience in like one sitting. So this is really cool. But it was, again, I was like, you're a real person. This is so wild. I've only seen you on television. It made the whole music dream seem obtainable, seeing her in real life, which was cool.
That's awesome. Because they were there. It sounds so cheesy and cliche, but they were literally there just like you.
Oh, yeah. And I was thinking that I was like, she was probably sick, like 18 or maybe younger. I don't know, but like she was my age and now she's coming back to mentor. Like Tori Kelly too. I've seen her come back before and I'm like, that is just so awesome. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a full circle moment.
Now, look at Tori Kelly. I don't know how far you made it, but she got cut right before top 24 and has gone on. People were so shocked that they said it was an early elimination. Well, look at what she's doing now. You don't have to make it far. You don't even have to get a yes. You don't have to get aired to still have an amazing career. So just to, be given the opportunity, it's incredible.
100%. And that is she's one of my favorite artists. Like she is one of the artists that I want to sound like and like I love her songs and her style and it's very similar to what I'm going for. So yeah, it was reassuring to be like, all right, Tori Kelly got cut. Like what? She's incredible. She's amazing. That doesn't make any sense. And it's just the experience, like the people you meet, the experience, getting to audition for the judges, meeting the producers, being in the TV, film environment. That was the best part of the whole thing. Doesn't matter about how far you get or if you get a ticket. Like it's just cool that you get to be a part of that weird niche family experience,
Oh
you
my
know?
goodness, yeah. I am curious if you feel that any of the mentoring made a difference in your performance, or if it didn't. I mean, I know it was obviously cool to get to meet them, but when you stepped on that stage for the performance challenge, how do you feel that you did? And again, I'm wondering if the mentoring made a difference, but what was that like, and what song did you sing?
Yeah, so the performance challenge, it was a blur because it was 150 people in 2 days and they are cutting like crazy. It's like it made me feel like not made me feel like, but it was kind of like a pick and choose, like literally just quick go, 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 go. So I was on there were 2 days. So 2 days for the performance challenge. I was performing on the second day, which was a bit of a bummer because, the first people go and it's all fresh and the judges are like well rested and like all that good stuff. So I was on the second day and I was like at night. So I was at like 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, and everyone had been up since 7 a.m. So it was pretty draining that day, I remember. But getting to get up there and sing my song was so surreal. I remember it a little bit more, a little less blacked out than last time, but I sang Anyone by Demi Lovato because I really wanted to focus on I'm like a big belter and I do a lot of runs and that's usually my forte, like feeling the song and giving it my own personal style. And at the audition, I was sitting at the piano and I was singing an original, so it's a lot different. So I really tried to showcase my performance quality as opposed to like my singer-songwriter quality during performance week.
And you said that four other people had sung it, so that probably did add a layer of anxiety, I imagine.
Yeah, especially like we get to Hollywood Week, everyone's excited to be there, and everyone's like, "What are you singing?" Da, 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 da. And you slowly start to hear as your audition creeps up, like, "Oh, I've heard that girl over there is singing the exact same song." And I'm
Right.
like, "Oh, okay, that's just one other person." Oh, actually, there's another girl singing it too, and she got a standing ovation. And I'm like, "Crap, okay." There were four other people who sang my song, so that was really rough. I was so bummed about that, but it was a lot of mental. That whole experience was a lot of me having to be like, this is how it's going to be in the industry. Like, there are going to be ups and downs, and there are going to be people singing your song, and there are going to be people who get more opportunities than you. And you just have to take everything with like a grain of salt. And you just have to do in that moment, you have 30 seconds to just be you. And that it's all mental game. Like, all of Hollywood Week is mental game. So that was the biggest thing, just being like getting in the zone, doing your thing, being like, you deserve to be here, you got a ticket, sing your song. Like that was a lot of it.
I don't know if you're familiar with Australian Idol because obviously totally different country, but there's a big deal because like Megan Trainor's a judge and Harry Connick Jr. and I saw on Instagram the way that they do their, obviously they don't call it Hollywood Week, but their first round is called a chorus line, and so
Mm.
everybody has to sing 10 seconds of the same song. So the clip that they posted, it'd be like these 10 girls and it'd be like
Oh,
something about you steps back makes me feel like a step back, and it would continue like that. So,
oh gosh, that would be the worst thing literally ever. That would be horrible because it's like, how do you distinguish yourself in 10 seconds? And how do you not do too much? And how do you do too, like, make it tasteful? And how do you not be cocky? Wow. And you're with, yeah, that was a big thing. Like, comparison was hard because there's so many, like, talented, beautiful girls who have brown curly hair or like look dressed like me or singing the same song as me. So that's, I guess, in that scenario, like you literally, again, it's all mental, which I struggle with. And I'll openly admit that. Like the mental side of performing and being a musician in this industry, it's like you've got to have rebound and you have to have a tough mental game and you can't get too down on yourself because otherwise it's like you're gonna be done in like 2 years if you're in. But wow, I would, oh my gosh, that would be the worst thing ever if I had to do that.
you know, at least, you had the full song to sort of pick and choose the moments where you stick out. I imagine it'd be a lot trickier with that other version, but
Yeah.
with this round, even just arriving in Hollywood Week, there's the beauty in realizing that you're surrounded by your people and you're meeting all these other musicians, and then as you just addressed, this is the first time that you're seeing other people doing the same thing as you. And I feel like that's maybe something people don't talk about a lot. And I certainly haven't heard as many people as you bring it up on the podcast is the comparison because you don't have probably a more crowded environment of people doing the same thing as you. And it's, again, the most beautiful thing. But
Yeah.
wow, nothing against anyone at all. It's your own personal battle that probably almost everyone around you is also facing. Like,
Yeah.
I love you. You were incredible, but I'm a little bit scared right now.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was the biggest thing because you make so many friends and you love everyone there. And that was the weirdest part. I was expecting people to be like, when I think of like musicians in the music industry who are really good, I think of like scary, like I'm too good for you, not going to give you a second glance, like, but everyone was so, maybe a couple people weren't, but like the majority of people were so supportive of one another, like following each other back on Instagram, like reaching out, writing songs, jamming out while we wait, and like complimenting each other. And that it was just like so like okay, we're all in this together. But it definitely was hard, so hard, being exhausted from the long day and watching people just completely kill a song on stage, especially the song you're about to sing, like in 2 hours. That was really hard, but yeah, that experience taught me that we're all in the same boat and you might as well be kind and then go kill it yourself as opposed to being jealous and like malicious and then like there's just no point in that. I've learned
Not at
it's been a
all.
lesson that you have to learn because jealousy is it's so real and comparison is so real, but yeah, that's what I would say about that.
Have you written any songs about jealousy?
Hmm. I've started one actually, but recently they've all been about boys, which is really sad. But I definitely should write a song about that. I have some stuff written down, so it's in the works.
Cool. Um, what was the result of your first performance? I'm not sure if you made it in, past the first round, but what was the result?
The result of that performance was, unfortunately, I did get eliminated during the solo round, which was definitely a bummer. But yeah, Hollywood Week was really, it was a crazy time, and it really revealed to me that like, I don't know, it's a little it's not what you think, you know? There are amazingly talented people who get cut and you don't really know why. Like I remember one girl in particular, she blew my mind. Like everyone standing ovations, judges standing ovation, and she got sent home. And I was just like really confused. I was like, how can someone that good get sent home? So I think a lot of it has to do with your story and your background and just things that the producers find really interesting. It's not all about what song you sang that day, to say the least. You get put in lines for Hollywood Week. You're with like 10 other people and you sing, the other lines sing, and then they bring you all out on stage and they eliminate you in front of all the other contestants and they make it all dramatic. They're like, Noel, step forward, da da da, step backward, da 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 da. And it's really scary. But I remember only 2 people in my line went forward, which was like so shocking to me. It was crazy. But we got cut and it was like, whoa, what just happened? That was crazy. I was like in a blur. And I remember walking off the stage. I was first in line. They had camera like right in my face, lights, walking out, and immediately you're sent into an interview right after when you're eliminated. And the interviews were brutal. They were like so brutal. The producers just really try and get that emotional response out of you, which is valid. It's a TV show. It's like, that's what it's all about. But I remember them asking me like, oh, like, why didn't the judges believe in you? Like, do you think you're going to have a career outside of this? How'd you mess up out there? And, I was like, I know this is a TV show and I'm not going to cry. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be composed and like, because I was like, I just don't want that being on television, even though I was so incredibly bummed and disappointed. So I just like tried to walk out of there with as much like poise and like being as humble as I could and being like, you know what, like those judges know what they're doing. They're so talented. But hopefully I'm gonna like keep pushing through. And like, it was hard though, because I was so upset in that moment. I really thought that was like the end all be all. And then you get on a bus and you go back to your hotel and you leave the next day. Like it was super quick and yeah, it was gnarly.
I like that word. Is it a fever dream to sort of be thrown into something that you've watched and experienced from an outside point of view as a viewer, and then you're in it and then you're just ripped away from it?
Yeah, it was, again, getting into like being a part of it was like so mind-blowing to me. I was so honored that producers would think I was good enough and talented enough to come and perform for the judges and to be a part of that. So it was like there were moments where it was super exciting and there were moments where I was like, I am the worst ever. I'm never going to make it. And there were moments where I was just like, I need to like be so thankful because I'm going to look back on this experience in 20 years and be so incredibly thankful, which I am. I've come to the like full like grieving phase where I'm like just overall so thankful for everything. Like the whole semester for me, because I'm a college student, so I was taking my finals early and I was leaving school for 2 weeks and I was leaving my performances and I had to like tell people I was going on vacation. Like I couldn't tell them what was happening. So it was like this whole secret, surreal thing. And part of me was thinking like, if I make it all the way, like, like thinking ahead for the future and stuff like that. And then in like 2 minutes, you're cut. And it's just like, whoa, back to real life, I guess. It took a while for me to like fully grasp
the timeline too of having it not even aired yet, but telling people, hey, this is happening. And then, but also some people don't know. And there's the whole social media game. I'm sure that's been interesting to play.
Yeah, it has been, especially with like, I found out that I'm not going to get aired, which is apparently super common. Like I didn't know that. I expected like, oh, they're flying me out here. I'm going to get, I got a golden ticket. I'm going to get aired, it's not like that at all. So it's been very interesting being like, all right, everyone, you should watch, but also I don't know if I'm going to be on, but also it's not really my decision. It's up to the producers. And a lot of people asking like, why aren't you getting aired? I'm like, you know what? I actually don't know. But you just got to go with it and roll with the punches. And that's why I don't want the fact of not getting aired to like take away from the whole experience because it was so special. And the fact, I don't know if you know this either, but if you don't get aired, you don't get to see your audition ever. So I'll never get to see what happened in that room and I'll never get to rewatch it. But I think a part of me is like, it makes it a little bit more special because it's like, all right, that was like the coolest thing ever. And I'll never get to like overanalyze it and like listen to myself singing and be like, oh, that was terrible. And why do I look like that? I'll just be able to like take away from that as like, that was one of the best moments of my life. Like running out with my golden ticket to my dad and like, so it is okay that I'm not getting aired. And it's common, unfortunately, because so many good people didn't get aired, which is a bummer, but that's like how it is. And I didn't know that. So it's been a learning experience for
Yeah.
sure.
The best moments in life aren't usually filled in front of a camera,
Yeah,
unless you're a
exactly.
Kardashian, but that's a whole separate thing.
That's a whole different story. So
Yeah, or who knows what's real. But anyway, I know it's been an interesting adjustment when the world and your world of people are still thinking what's happening with the show. But for you, this has been something where 2023, it's already been in the past. Idol, you filmed it last year. So what's been going on with you? Obviously, you're a college student. You have new single, and what have you been working on? What are you excited about?
well, thank you for asking because that's really nice of you. But yeah, so I filmed Idol last year, which is weird to say. So it's the show is coming out and people are like, "Oh, are you like moving forward?" And I'm like, "I actually already know, but I cannot tell you." Um so I've been at school. I'm a full-time student, commercial music and production major and got a business minor, so fully taking classes, but what I'm really trying to focus on is performing a lot around Southern California. So I actually did a couple shows in Hollywood last week and one last night, and I've been trying to perform as much as I can and grow my, audience or like people who like listen to my music and stuff like that, which has been really great. And Idol really helped me with that because being in that awkward environment of just performing in front of three people in like mid daylight with cameras around and now being able to like go to Hollywood and be like completely fine and have like a show is like so awesome. So took a lot of the stress off of that aspect. But I've also been writing a lot of music and producing and recording and working with really talented producers and getting to learn about the music industry with songwriting and releasing your music and growing a social media platform. So I'm just trying to learn and do and experience as much as I can while I'm young. And we're just going with anything I can get right now. So performing and writing and recording and whatever the wind blows, I'll just take whatever I can get.
What's been the most fun part of everything you're doing, and what do you think has been the either the least fun or the most challenging?
The most fun part is definitely performing live. Love performing live, but also like a song, writing a song and then bringing it to the studio and recording it and building it from literally the ground up and releasing it is one of the coolest things ever. Sharing, it's like a piece of artwork. Like you're getting to share that with the world and like whoever listens, and if it impacts someone, like I've had people who I don't even know, which is like crazy. People who I don't know reaching out to me like your song quite literally related to me so much. Like I was driving on this road and a cop like pulled me over because I was speeding because I was like thinking and I was like, whoa, like that is exactly what my song is about. And that has been the coolest part so far. Slowly growing like people who like relate to the music, which I know is so cheesy, but it's you can only experience it once it happens. It's so true. Um, the hardest part has been like the rejection, but also the like continuing to keep going. Like even if you get bogged down and like rejected, you got to keep going. And you have to keep putting yourself out there and you have to keep marketing and you can't let one thing stop you. And that's a learning thing that takes time and maturity and that's definitely been the hardest part though. Like I bet everyone could agree with that.
I think it's those moments of people reaching out to you, especially the ones you don't know, that must keep you going on top of just your love for music. I mean, anybody who's creative, I think, just has loved what they've done from whenever it was that they started, and there's always the tough days, but you do it because you love it, no matter how hard it is, because there's like a need in your soul to get the music out.
Yeah, that's good. I looked back at like my year ago today recently and I was like I had my first solo show like a little bit over a year ago and now like I did American Idol and like I have some songs released and like you just got to slowly keep moving forward and you see the progress and it just takes time and I'm young, but that's like any advice I would give to anyone who's trying to pursue this dream. You just have to keep pushing because it will be beneficial and rewarding in the future.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, we are going to play your song Middle of May as we close out, but I want to ask you a little bit about it because I just listened to it. Why give your body to that stranger while I'm standing right here tied around your finger? Those lyrics, I was like, I have to ask you just about the entire song because the melody is incredible. The lyrics are astounding. What went into that?
Wow, thank you. That's really nice. Basically what goes into that is like I remember I wrote this song like I was quite literally driving home from just like a really frustrating conversation I had with someone, and I was just like my mind was just like completely spinning. Like I just kept replaying the conversation over and over again, and I was like, this person still hasn't noticed that I'm right here. Like I'm quite literally tied around your finger, and you're telling me about all the other girls that you're going out with, and like you're telling me about all the girls you kiss, and like it's just like, hello, I'm right here. So I wanted to make it as real and raw as possible because that's like that's how you touch people. And so that's literally what went into it. Like this person was just unaware, and I felt so invisible, and I just wanted to like show that frustration, but also the like, all right, I'm gonna let this go. Like at the end of the chorus, it kind of ties up with, so I'll just watch you take her hand and leave. I got another ticket today, So it's like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna drive away. And yeah.
You've got a golden ticket.
True. For real. Yeah, I guess you could put it like that.
Anything you do, I mean, the people that let you down and disappoint you or make you feel bad, you always end up proving them wrong, or you show them why they made so many mistakes, they missed out.
It's just like it encaptures that frustration of like, I'm not like, you're just so unaware and I feel so invisible and I don't know what to do with myself. But it also is like release, like I'm just gonna try my best to move on. So that's the moral of that song. But yeah.
Well, I'm so happy that all these people, these fans of yours, they've felt seen, because although you may have felt invisible, I feel like the music really connects with people. It certainly is connected with me. Yes. Where can people connect with you? Social media? Where can they stream your music? What shows have you got coming up?
My social medias are literally my name, which I don't know if we need to spell it out, but it'll be on the episode.
Yes.
Noël Tsoukalas, Instagram, TikTok. I'm playing shows all the time around LA, San Diego area, Santa Barbara. So if anyone is in Southern California, I would love to meet you. And I've got music on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora. You can listen to those 2 songs, the one I performed for the judges and the one I just released.
Well, we're going to play that as we close out Middle of May. But really quickly, I'm just curious, any advice for either aspiring Idol contestants, aspiring artists, or, I don't know, college students, humans in general? Any parting thoughts, Noel?
You can't let one little disappointment get you down, because where would anyone be if you just stopped? Like, just keep going. You've got a lot to show, and I think that goes for musicians. I think it goes for college students, literally anyone pursuing a dream ever. Just don't let it get you down, because you got a lot of potential. And yeah.
Noel, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, make sure that you follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Idol Nerd Podcast. Wherever you are listening or watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment or review, share this with a friend. Really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. And Noel, thank you again for being a part of American Idol Unaired. And here is Middle of May.
Woo, thank you.
Got my first ticket today on a mountain road in the middle of May. I drive way too quick when I start to think about you, tasting the bitter flavor that lingers in her lipstick. And I know I'll never gather up the courage to show how I feel, but if I could, here's what I'd ask. Why give your body to that stranger while I'm standing right here tied around your finger? You don't even know her name, seems to numb the pain for the night, so you can brag about it later. So I watch you take her hand and leave. I got another ticket today. I told myself to never forget this, but I know you think that we're just friends, so I'll go. Ooh, but I gotta ask, why give your body to that stranger while I'm standing right here tied around your finger? Watch you take her hand and leave. I got another ticket today. My parents were upset with me that day, speeding down those roads in the middle of May. I just said I didn't notice the dial pushing 68. I thought I could negotiate that it's the only thing that makes me feel alive. Do you even notice I'm alive? Why give your body to that stranger while I'm standing right here tired